It rarely begins with shouting. In fact, the most dangerous manipulators almost never raise their voice. They whisper in ways that sound like concern, question you with words that sound like care, and twist your perception until you can no longer trust the sound of your own mind. That's how manipulation works, not by force, but by conditioning. You don't even notice the training at first. It starts small, a subtle correction here, a gentle critique there. They question your memory with phrases like, "Are you sure that's how it happened? Or it wasn't that bad?" They laugh off your instincts, mock your feelings, reword your truth until you begin to hesitate before speaking it. And that hesitation is how they know the conditioning has begun. Psychologically, this is called gaslighting, a form of emotional manipulation designed to erode your trust in your own reality. But it's more than just lying, it's repetition. They don't need you to believe their version right away. They just need you to question yours, often enough that it loses authority. Once you doubt your own perception, they no longer need to convince you of anything. You start convincing yourself. The worst part is how reasonable it feels. You tell yourself, they're just trying to help. You rationalize their criticism as honesty. You interpret their silence as maturity. Because manipulators don't train you through fear. They train you through gratitude. They make you thank them for the pain that breaks you down. It's psychological conditioning, no different from how a trainer teaches an animal. Obedience, reward, compliance, punish resistance, and repeat until the subject stops trying to escape. You learn that peace only exists when you agree with them. That love is withheld when you speak up. That you're overreacting whenever you express pain. Slowly, your nervous system adjusts to the discomfort of self-erasure. The brain responds to this kind of manipulation like it does to trauma bonding. Each moment of validation releases dopamine. Each critique releases cortisol. The cycle creates dependency. You begin craving their approval the same way an addict craves a hit. Not because it feels good, but because it temporarily relieves the withdrawal of self-doubt. What makes it so dangerous is how ordinary it looks. Manipulators don't always hide behind malice. They often wear the mask of the concerned partner, the protective friend, the wise mentor. They say things like, "I'm just looking out for you," or "No one else will be as honest." They frame their control as care, and because you want to believe in their good intentions, you overlook the damage it causes. Soon, your language changes. You start every sentence with, "I might be wrong, but..." You apologize for existing in the middle of arguments you didn't cause. You ask for permission to have feelings. And when you catch yourself doing it, you feel ashamed, which only tightens their grip. Because now you're policing yourself before they even have to. The psychology behind this is rooted in something called learned self-distrust. When you're repeatedly told that your memory, emotions, or judgment are wrong, your brain adapts by deferring to external authority. You start seeking their validation before making decisions. Not because you need advice, but because you no longer trust your own instincts. It's a psychological prison built with invisible bars. But here's what most people don't understand. The manipulator doesn't just want control of your actions. They want control of your interpretation of reality. If they can shape how you see things, they never have to change their behavior. They don't need to apologize if they can convince you nothing wrong happened. They'll shift your boundaries inch by inch. You say, "No." They laugh. You confront them. They call you dramatic. You ask for space. They act hurt. Every reaction teaches you the same lesson. Your discomfort is the problem, not their behavior. That's how they train you to doubt yourself. By redefining pain as overreaction and confusion as guilt. Over time, you stop noticing the disrespect. You rationalize it. You say things like, "They don't mean it that way," or "I can be too sensitive." But every excuse is another layer of the trap, because the moment you defend their intentions over your experience, you've accepted the role they gave you, the one who's always wrong. And once they've taught you that, they don't need to control you anymore. You'll do it for them. Once a manipulator teaches you to question your reality, they've essentially taken ownership of your mind. They no longer need to raise their voice or make demands. You'll begin to censor yourself automatically. You'll start second-guessing everything you do, replaying conversations in your head, wondering if you were too harsh, too sensitive, too defensive. It's like living under a spell, and the cruelest part is, you think you're the one who cast it? This is how they gain control without force. They replace your confidence with confusion. They weaponize your empathy, knowing you'll overanalyze your own intentions before you ever question theirs. They twist your kindness into compliance. They study what breaks you, and then they disguise it as love. You start to notice it in subtle ways. They compliment you, but there's always an undertone. You're smart, just not great with decisions. They apologize, but only to reframe blame. I'm sorry you took it that way. They comfort you after hurting you, reinforcing the illusion that they're both the poison and the cure. And over time, your body starts confusing pain for closeness, guilt for responsibility, and anxiety for love. Psychologically, this creates something called cognitive dissonance. It's when your brain tries to reconcile to conflicting truths. This person loves me, and this person hurts me. The tension between those two beliefs keeps you trapped. You tell yourself, they didn't mean it, or maybe I'm too sensitive. Because the alternative, that you're being manipulated, is too painful to face. So you choose the lie that hurts less. But manipulation isn't just about distorting truth. It's about shaping emotion. The manipulator's goal is to condition you to doubt your internal signals, your instincts, your emotions, your intuition. Because once those are compromised, you'll start seeking their approval as your compass. They don't want you to feel. They want you to ask them how to feel. That's why many survivors of manipulation say they stopped recognizing themselves. They lose touch with what they like, what they need, even what they believe. Their identity becomes reactive, shaped by what keeps the peace. And peace, in that kind of dynamic, always comes at the cost of self. The manipulator thrives in that imbalance. When you question them, they accuse you of paranoia. When you pull away, they play the victim. When you defend yourself, they twist it into aggression. The cycle is designed to keep you emotionally exhausted, too tired to analyze, too confused to fight back. It's not chaos by accident. It's control by design. And the scariest part is that by the time you realize it, you're addicted to the cycle. The brain releases oxytocin when we connect emotionally, even in toxic connections. The same chemical that bonds mothers to infants keeps victims attached to their abusers. So when the manipulator offers affection after harm, your body interprets it as relief. That's why it feels impossible to leave. You're not weak, you're chemically trained to stay. But here's what the manipulator never prepares for: awareness. The moment you name what's happening, their power begins to crumble. Because manipulation can only survive in confusion. When you start noticing patterns, the way they minimize, deflect, or guilt trip, you start separating your truth from theirs. That separation is the beginning of freedom. The remedy isn't to fight harder, it's to disengage smarter. You reclaim your power by relearning to trust yourself. You start paying attention to your body, the way it tenses when they speak, the way your stomach knots when you doubt your own feelings. That discomfort isn't weakness. It's intuition trying to wake you up. You start journaling what happened, so your memory can't be rewritten. You start noticing when their words don't match their actions. You stop explaining your boundaries, and you start enforcing them. When they sense the shift, they'll panic. They'll call you cold. They'll say you've changed. They'll accuse you of manipulation because projection is their final defense. But don't mistake their outrage for evidence that you're wrong. It's proof that you've stopped being predictable. And predictability was the only thing keeping them in control. Healing from manipulation isn't just about cutting contact. It's about rebuilding trust in yourself. It's learning that your emotions aren't liabilities, they're signals. It's realizing that self-doubt was never your flaw. It was their design. And when you finally stop questioning your reality, you begin to see how much of your power was never lost, only hidden beneath their illusion. Eventually, you'll look back and see that what they called love was really control. What they called honesty was deflection, and what they called weakness in you was the strength they feared the most, awareness. Then once you have that, they can never train you again.